In this video, I'm going to talk about why creating content is a brilliant idea, even if absolutely nobody watches. So I remember when I was first getting started with this channel, and I remember waking up every single morning with basically no new views and no more subscribers. And I remember there was this one video that I absolutely poured my heart and soul into. I put so much love into the scripting and the editing and the filming, just so I could make it as perfect as possible. And I remember thinking, this is the one. This is the video that goes viral. This is the video that gets me all the views and all the subscribers and all the validation that I've been looking for. And it got a grand total of 8 views. It didn't even crack double digits. And if you've ever experienced anything like that, let's just be honest with each other. It does hurt. Like it's not a nice feeling. And in moments like that, it's very easy to start doubting yourself. It's very easy to start overthinking. And you might even start to ask yourself questions like, why would anyone even want to watch my videos? But thankfully, my story doesn't end there. I decided to keep going because I knew I had something valuable to share. And just a few weeks later, the views started to come in, the subscribers started to come in, and literally everything changed overnight. But here's the weird part. I still think this whole content creation journey that I've been on would have definitely still been worth it, even if nobody had watched my videos. Now, the first reason for this is I genuinely believe that creating content is for everybody. And I don't mean that, everyone can get 1 million subscribers or everybody can become Instagram famous. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who's just, selling you the dream. But what I do mean is that everybody has something valuable to share. I believe that everybody has a story or a struggle that they've been through that someone else out there desperately needs to hear. Because here's the thing that most new creators don't realize is you only really need to reach one person to make this worth it. Because let's imagine that you post a video and let's say that video gets 27 views. Now, at first you're going to think, the video was a flop. I'm such a failure, this content creation thing, it's not really working. But now I want you to imagine that you're stood in a room and 27 people are sat in the room listening to you speak. And it's very possible that for one person sat in that room, you might say something that inspires them, or you might say something that shifts their perspective on something, or you might just make them feel a little bit less alone. And that one person, they might never tell you, but they will remember you forever. Because here's the thing, creating content is not just about numbers on a screen. It's not just about getting views and subscribers and followers. It's about the genuine impact that you can have on specific people, even if you don't have loads of views just yet. And by the way, if you are serious about this whole content creation thing, I actually have a free 5-day roadmap that shows you exactly how to grow an audience and start earning money as a new creator. So yeah, like I said, it's completely free to download, so I will leave a link in the description if you want to check that out. Okay, so the second reason why I think that creating content is an amazing idea, even if nobody ends up watching, is the amount of personal growth that comes with it. So if we rewind all the way back to 2023, this is when I posted my first ever piece of content, my first ever Instagram reel. And I remember feeling so awkward and so uncomfortable speaking to a camera. I remember I had to refilm it like 10 different times. I could barely even string a sentence together when I was actually speaking to the camera. But now, just a couple of years later, I have noticed a massive difference in my ability to express myself and articulate my ideas. But not just when I'm sat in front of a camera. I've actually noticed it in my real life as well. And this might sound strange, but I think that making these videos and expressing my ideas and posting those ideas onto the internet has actually made a big difference to my social skills. Because think about it like this, if you are speaking to a camera, or even if you're just doing a voiceover, you are forced to confront how you actually communicate. You start to see every hesitation, you start to notice how much you use certain filler words, you start to notice how much you say like in every sentence. And there's a good chance that you might start to notice these things for the very first time. And for most of you watching, and myself included, this can be a little bit uncomfortable at first. It can maybe even be a little bit painful. You might think, oh God, is that really how I speak? This is a disaster. But this is exactly how you grow. If you keep showing up, if you take this seriously, if you keep making slow, gradual improvements over time, you will learn how to express yourself better. You will improve at articulating your ideas. And then, like I said, you actually start to notice these things in real life as well. It's crazy. Like for me, when I was growing up, I was a very, very shy child because I'm naturally a bit of an introvert. probably a little bit on the spectrum, to be honest. So socializing doesn't really come naturally to me. However, over the last few years, I have definitely noticed a massive change in my real life. So the connections that I make in my life, my friendships, my relationships, all because I sit in front of a camera on a regular basis and essentially practice the art of communication. Because at the end of the day, everything improves when you're able to communicate more effectively. Your relationships, your friendships, your business, your career, literally everything. And by the way, I'm not saying that now I'm some incredible speaker. This is something that I'm still working on every single day. But I would say that even becoming a little bit better at speaking has completely changed my life. But here's where things get interesting, because everything that we've discussed so far is kind of assuming that barely anyone watches your videos. But now imagine if this actually works. Imagine the first time you get a comment from someone saying, "This video was amazing," or "This video really inspired me." And then imagine that you stay consistent and you keep improving over time. And then slowly but surely, your views and your subscribers start to go up and up and up. And I know how cliche this is, but if you genuinely believe in yourself, if you stay consistent and you keep making those improvements over time, honestly, the sky is the limit when it comes to content creation. Because if someone had told me in 2023, when I was first getting into content creation, that in 6 months' time, I would have 200,000 followers, I would have thought they were crazy. I would never have believed them in a million years. But that's exactly what happened. And it all started with the same thing that I've been talking about since the start of this video, which is to start creating even when nobody is watching. Now, the last thing I want to leave you with might actually be the most important part of this whole video. Because if you're watching this, I can almost guarantee that you spend maybe a bit too much time on YouTube, or maybe you spend too much time scrolling your life away on Instagram or on TikTok. And of course, I have been there as well. I've spent so much time, so much of my life just watching YouTube videos. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. All that time and all that attention that you're giving to other people's videos, you could just redirect that into your own. Because every creator that you admire at some point had to make that switch from simply just being a consumer to actually becoming a creator. Because by making this switch, you stop living on the sidelines. You stop watching other people live the life that you want to live, and you can actually start building it for yourself. So next time you catch yourself in a deep scrolling session or spending too much time on YouTube, I want you to remember this. You could be using that exact moment to put something out into the world, to become a source of inspiration, and maybe even create that one video that somebody out there really, really needed to see. So if you are thinking about starting your journey as a creator, I actually made this video for you right here where I show you the one change that got me my first 1,000 subscribers in 8 days. True story. So yeah, click onto that video and I'll see you there.